Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harkar, and we're here today with Wesley Atwood. And what we're going to talk about is Wesley's journey and his love for real estate so much that he'd do it for free. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business by providing tools and resources that help you build the business you want to build and live the life you want to live. Wes, welcome to our show.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this, man. I mean, I love how you stated that, loving something so much you do it for free, because if you love something, you're not working a day in your life, right? But before we get into all that, do me a favor and give our audience a little bit of background on kind of where you came from, what got you into real estate, and what got you here.
Sure thing. Appreciate it. So, had a nice long corporate career. I worked for several years with a company called 3M in St. Paul, Minnesota. I managed a $400 million global business for them.
Wow.
If you remember when the world shut down and everybody was wearing masks, that's the division that I worked in.
Okay.
But of course, it was many years back. I moved here to the Dallas area about 18 years ago and worked for what has now become about a $25 billion company that most people have never heard of. I managed a $180 million business for them in the U.S.
Wow.
So I share that as a little bit of background. It has nothing to do with real estate. It has to do with the fact that comfortable with numbers and comfortable with marketing, I think gave my wife and I a lot of confidence to step into real estate and do our first deals. My wife is a licensed interior designer.
Okay.
So finance, marketing, interior design background, it was kind of easy to take a look at deals and run some numbers and get a quick idea if is this a deal or not a deal. But I think the real story is, my daughter is going to be 15 years old this year, and my family owns a coffee shop. And so we met almost 15 years ago, a lot of real estate investors that would come in, brokers, realtors. And as my daughter was going to be born, I started thinking, she's going to have to go to college someday. Mm-hmm. And I would really like for my investments to pay for that. I don't want them to pay for that out of my pocket. So we started talking to some of our friends as they came in and expressed some interest in starting to get involved buying some rental properties. And again, both of me and my wife working in corporate America at the time. Right around this time every year, it's bonus season in corporate. And so when those bonuses would get paid out, my good friends would go buy a new BMW. They'd take a trip to Europe or Hawaii, and my wife and I would buy a property. So 15 years ago, we bought our very first property. It was a fix and flip.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Nothing special. 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,650 square feet with a swimming pool that had sat vacant for the better part of 2 years. Everything in the front yard and backyard was dead. The swimming pool in great shape, but septic. And we bought it as a short sale. So it took us almost a full year to close on that thing. We were in no rush. So we bought that, we rehabbed it. It turned out so nice, just a few blocks away from our house, that we decided to move into it. And we lived there for 2 years and a day.
2 years and 1 day.
That's right. And we made the house we were living in at the time our very first rental.
Awesome.
And,
now,
go ahead.
Just real fast, you from your corporate background, obviously, and then I know you mentioned the coffee shop and investors coming in. Were there any other real estate influences in your life? Have you guys, did you previously think about getting into real estate prior to this coffee shop scenario?
You know what? That's a great question. Actually, we did. And a lot of people, I think, are concerned about that initial hurdle because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that gave us the confidence to do it is we were doing a deal. It was basically in our neighborhood. We knew the area so well. We knew for sure what, our current house was that was going to become our very first rental.
Mm-hmm.
We knew exactly what it would rent for, an exemplary school district. So with the concerns and the risk, just based on familiarity, we felt we were able to bring that down. And I think that's a really good point that you bring up, is because I think a lot of people, they don't know where to begin. And I always say you start right where you are
Mm-hmm.
with the tools that you have. Always, in every business I've ever done.
Did you have any help or reach out for help as far as learning how to underwrite a property? Because I know that's some things that people are kind of either afraid of or they jump into it without having all the facts and do it wrong.
You know what? Again, I think the finance background helped. This is how I underwrote my first property. So how much can I buy this for? And it was 125 grand I purchased it for.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at that property and I put my finger on my chin and I said, I know for sure there's just no way that I could spend more than X amount of money on this thing unless I cover the walls in gold. I just know. I know that I can find people who will do this work for, I told myself 70 grand and probably not even that much for a full cosmetic rehab.
Wow.
And it turned out to be $52,000. And I wasn't sophisticated at the time. I didn't know that there was a world of wholesalers out there and private money lenders. We just bought the thing from the bank and used a mortgage and put 20% down and paid for the rest of it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's another important point. Like, I don't feel like you have to know all of the pieces and parts to begin with.
No.
And the fact that we weren't trying to make a living at it on our first deal. We were able to do our first deal, learn from our first deal. And subsequently, we've done so many deals now that I can tell you, walking through a house in my market is going to be $38 to $42 a square foot to do a cosmetic flip. We've worked with the same teams over 10 years. And so it's pattern recognition after that over time.
Right. So this first house that you guys did you do the work or did you hire out all the reno and stuff?
These are accounting.
Those are your employees right there, huh?
Yeah, these are accounting fingers. These don't have calluses on them. So how did I find the rehabber? I had a neighbor back behind my house who was having a whole rehab done on a property.
Mm.
What do you think about this guy? His name was Israel.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
He does really good work. He's not a great GC, so if you want to work with him, plan on GCing it yourself. And the rest is history. I did probably 15 deals with him, and then he brought another guy in that have done at least 15 deals with that guy, and
Wow.
not difficult.
Were there any mistakes that you look back and say, like, man, how did I do that? Or, what was I thinking when I did that on that first deal?
Yeah. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't think about when they do a real estate deal is for buyers and investors that are purchasing at a certain price point, there's certain expectations. As you move up in the price point, the expectations change.
Mm-hmm.
And as you move up in price point even further, the expectations change. The higher the price point, typically these are people that they've got, let's call it just higher expectations on finish outs. They don't want to touch things when they move into them. So over the years, as the price point has gone up, making sure that you're tailoring your finish out to that expectation, I think, was a little bit of a learning curve.
And that's great advice. Are there any other challenges that you were coming across as you started to scale up, maybe into a higher value asset class? I mean, things that just kind of, as you grew, you kept running into or had to overcome?
When you're working with different investors and different crews, I guess the best way to say this is much like a football team, you might have a core team, but over time you take pieces out and trade out players and bring in new players and keep things fresh. The people that you go into battle with, you have to be able to count on. And if there's any sense that they're not following through or doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it, you've got to be quick to take corrective action.
Okay. And how were you finding all your properties? Is it something where you were was buying off MLS? Were you doing any type of off market marketing or anything like that?
So I've been a real estate investor for 15 years. And in the very early days, again, I was not very sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
So just buying off of MLS, didn't know that there was a whole world of ways to acquire properties. And as I grew more sophisticated and of course, became familiar with the world of wholesalers and different ways to acquire it, I just started getting on wholesalers lists, and I would, look at 40, 50 deals in a day. I'd run them through a very quick, unsophisticated spreadsheet. And if they passed the sniff test, I might go look at 2 or 3 deals per day.
Okay.
I've never been really a thrift store shopper, but I've been to a thrift store before. You might have to dig through a pile to find anything worth looking at.
Yeah.
I always kind of compared it to that when you're looking at those kind of deals. And then as you become more sophisticated and kind of more networked, we've hosted many, many real estate investor meetups, and people start reaching out to you. Wes, I got this thing. It's in this area. I know you love this area. Let me know if it's something you're interested in. So it just, the more deals you do and the more your network expands, the easier the deals come.
Yep. Your network is your net worth.
It is.
So what does your business look like today? I mean, it was you and your wife before. Have you built out a team? What does it look like?
So we started out just one at a time. Then we got to a place where we're doing maybe a couple per year, and then your brain starts thinking.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
How do I do more of this and bigger and faster? And so your brain starts going toward multifamily. So we did 3 of those. And then when COVID, when we learned the word COVID and the market, I thought we were going to see a rash of foreclosures in our DFW market from people paying, and I was planning on buying all of them. And exactly the opposite happened. There was like the inventory went to almost zero. We had seven days of inventory here. So we started building houses because there's significant shortage. This is a roundabout way of answering your question. What does your team look like? My wife, a business partner, and his wife are our team. And everything else is outsourced. Everything. From title to borrowing to the teams that we work with for doing the rehab. And we quite prefer it that way. It allows us to be more opportunist and prevents the amount of overhead that can sometimes force people to do deals might not otherwise want to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you mentioned multifamily. Do you have a preference of single family versus multifamily? Are you more heavily involved in one or the other?
No, not really. Single family is just kind of what we knew, and it's kind of where most people start. But then moving into multifamily, I kind of compare it to hunting a little bit. Like you could go out and hunt small game, or you can go out and bring home a bison. And it just depends on, are you prepared to manage that?
Were there any obstacles or things you ran into when you made that change to go up to multifamily?
You don't get to work with the same crews that you've been working with in single family, right? The guys that you've relied on that are consistent and do the kind of work that you know exactly what to expect are typically not the same crews that can do a rehab of a 100-unit property,
Right. Okay.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So then it became a matter of reaching out to our network, other people that are in this multifamily space, starting to, see who they refer, who they recommend, a lot of interviewing people, and then hiring slow and potentially firing fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a mindset shift that you had to do when going up to multifamily?
You got to know that that's going to be a longer burn. But I think probably 70 to 75% of it is really kind of the same thing, making sure you're buying right, making sure that you have your timing and expectations right, making sure that you have a very clear path of how you're going to take this thing on and how you're going to get out. A lot of those things are the same. Some of the things that you can't anticipate, that you kind of make assumptions around are, once I take this project on and we start doing these rehabs and we start taking the rents up, are those rents going to stick? What's our vacancy going to look like in the short term as we're doing some of these rehabs? Are we on course and managing these to a level of what we've planned? So that's the different part of the whole thing.
Got it. Okay. And what trends are you seeing in the industry right now? Like where do you see things going?
I can only really speak for I at the macro level, I know that we still have a massive shortage of housing. Um, East Coast and West Coast, massive shortage. Um, we're starting to see in some of the markets where it's easier to build and develop, which would be Texas, Florida,
Florida.
yep, some of the Sun Belt states. We're starting to see inventory creep up in those markets. What's fascinating is your listeners probably know this well. Typically, when you get about 6 months worth of inventory, that's historically been referred to as a balanced market. If you have less than 6 months of inventory, it's historically been a seller's market. More than 6 months, a buyer's market. Um, the way that interest rates spiked so quickly set a lot of people who are would-be buyers on the sidelines just because of the uncertainty. And the prices that we were seeing, have been seeing across major markets, have set a lot of people back as well. So even though in many of these markets there's 3.5, maybe 4.5 months worth of inventory, prices and mortgage rates have had people still kind of sitting on the sidelines. So it's
Mm-hmm.
almost acting like a balanced market right now. Buyers and sellers are having to work at getting deals done. In the last several months, I think builders have really been winning in our market because they've often got a little more margin in a deal. They can do more to work with buyers, especially on mortgage and rate buy downs. Uh,
Yeah. I saw that. I saw an article the other day, and it's meant funny you mentioned that those areas like Florida, Texas, where that type of inventory and builders are being able to give more incentives, maybe towards the buyers. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what our topic is in the sense, the love of real estate, right, and doing it for free. Why is it important to you to have that conviction and that passion about what you're
Mhm.
doing?
Um, I've started 5 businesses in my life. Two of them went really well. One went and one didn't go so well. And I told my wife, when I step out and do the next thing, which is real estate, I've been doing this for many years now, that I want to do something that I love so much I would do it for free. Because there were times in other businesses where the wind is in your face and the rain is blowing sideways, and you're just like, why am I doing this? You have to love what you're doing to get up out of bed some days the next day. And the thing about real estate that I love so much, a lot of people get involved in this business because of the potential, the opportunity. They'll tell you about the way that, these assets pay for themselves over time, and all that's good. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still, to this day, love to see some decrepit piece of property that's overgrown and just hideous looking turn into something special again. I get a personal sense of enjoyment, and I'm energized by that alone. I would do that alone for free.
I love it.
And because of that, when I talk about real estate, I don't feel like I'm talking about work ever. I meet people in my family's coffee shop who, want to pick my brain and talk about real estate. Some of them have done hundreds of deals, some of them have done none.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't feel like any time has gone by. We sit and talk just like this. And for that one reason alone, I love it.
That's why I love what I do. I literally get to sit and talk real estate all day long.
Mhm.
Another thing we mentioned, and you talked about before we got on, is staying in your lane, right? Knowing your path.
Mm.
In this day of shiny object syndrome, why is just you finding your path and staying in it so important?
That's such a great question. I've met so many different real estate investors, some of them like me, who are, they'd call themselves opportunists, I think. And you do tend to get distracted by the next opportunity or the next big opportunity. You are successful at the previous level. I took down I took down the deer. Can I take down the water buffalo now?
Right.
That's kind of where you start thinking. And what I've seen over the years and the investors that I've worked with over the years, many of them have kind of gone down those roads, and they ultimately end up finding the one or two or the three things that they're just really good at. They find their lane. I've met people now who are wholesalers, and they've built systems around wholesaling. They use technology. They've got significant buyer lists that they've developed over time. And it's what they feel good and comfortable about. They hardly ever do a fix and flip unless it's something that is just so grossly profitable that they just couldn't fail at it.
Right.
Then I've met fix and flippers who they've just figured out that fixing and flipping is their thing. It's what they're good at. They've built processes and teams around that. And they've defined like specific markets and price points that they love. And they end up kind of staying in that lane. I've got friends who only build high end. If it's less than $1 million, they're not interested, and they're good at it. So finding that lane, I think, is important.
Yeah, and I think too on the stress level part, because I mean myself as being a wholesaler, I've tried the fix and flip stuff, and for me, it's not me. I know my lane. What advice would you give to someone that is looking to get into the business, whether it's fix and flip, whether it's wholesale, just any advice to get into real estate? What would you give them nowadays?
I never want to limit somebody and tell them, what they're able to do, or even try to set their mind thinking about what they should or shouldn't do. But I can tell you the advice that I'd give myself that worked for me, that I think really set me up for success. I've seen a lot of people jump into this business head first. And some of them jumped into this business head first with very limited liquidity, very limited net worth, and they just started swimming hard. And some of them made it. And when I say some of them made it, many of them didn't.
Most of them didn't, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that can't happen. Anybody that has that passion, and it turns out that they've got a network of people that they can rely on and people who will invest in their deals, I mean, the sky is the limit. The thing that I think set my wife and I up for success was that you never forsake the day of small beginnings. Right? Everybody knows this story of David and Goliath, right? What's the story of David and Goliath, John? The 10-second story.
Oh, David defeats the giant with a sling and a stone.
That's right.
David's a poor shepherd boy.
What do you think it was that gave David the confidence to go out after that after that giant?
Belief in God.
A lot of people forget that he first faced the lion and then he faced the bear.
The bear.
That's right. So when nobody was looking, he was like, I think I can take this thing. And he had a success. And when nobody was looking, he was like, I think I can take this bear. And he had some success. And then all of a sudden he looked at the giant, was like, you know what? I think I can take this thing. And I think that if I were giving myself advice, that slow burn, that 1 to 2 deals that I was doing per year, doing it as a side thing, doing it and learning. And by the third deal, I knew that, at that time, $25 a square foot basically does any cosmetic fix and flip I'd want to do in my area. When COVID hit, prices went up. I knew it was 35. Prices continued. It's 38 to 42. It's those deals over time that give you the confidence to start to realize what you can do.
I love that. And I love that analogy. That's perfect. And thank you for sharing all this stuff with us, man. I mean, this has been fantastic. If folks want to reach out to you and maybe, talk to you a little bit about, the journey a little bit more, maybe some advice, or maybe want to do deals with you, I mean, how could they reach out and how can they get in touch?
You know, I am a little bit embarrassed. I was on a podcast once before and they asked me the same question. I don't have a ton of social media. Like I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Like you can find me easy enough on Facebook and send me a DM. These days, I focus almost entirely on financing other people's deals. I've been on the side of the table where I've been shopping for deals for many years, and now I'm looking at other people's deals, and I've been in their shoes and financing those deals.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Do I give my
Yeah.
email?
If you want to give your email address, you can. Well, I mean, we'll put it all in the show notes as well.
Sure. If you want to reach out to me, Wesley Atwood, Wesley. Last name A as in Apple, T as in Thomas, Wood, Wesley Atwood at gmail.com.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and like I said, we'll put all the show notes so they can reach out. Guys, I hope you took a lot of good notes. There was a lot of good nuggets he dropped. Wesley, thank you again for coming on and sharing all that. We probably could have talked for another 30 minutes. We didn't even get a chance to talk about the lending part. But guys, reach out if you guys have any questions. If you're in the DFW and maybe have a deal that maybe needs some funding, reach out to Wes. Nothing like collaboration, and this is a smart gentleman. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.
John, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.